Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel on the 7th of January. We've been doing daily drawings, perhaps since the 1st of December, if you've been following along. We did the Advent series and then I just kept going with daily drawings, and I have been sharing the references in my Discord server, which everyone is invited to join. And today we are going to be drawing Jade. Jade sets, photographed by Don't Smile NYC, Amy Horowitz, who we drew an awesome reference from on the 1st of December as well, of Karen. And if you are here watching this, I would love you to say hi in the chat. And maybe you just came from 2 hours of sketching with me in my Zoom room. That would be super cool. So this is some bonus drawing time. Every Tuesday I host a 2-hour portrait sketch session in Zoom where we draw each other. And I'll just show you some of the sketches I just did. So hopefully I'm nice and warmed up for this sketch session. This was my first of the drawings. We start with 30 seconds, and then Louisa is here, hello. And then move on to 1 minute. And I haven't worked with the calligraphy pen for these really quick sketches in a long time. But since I'm working with more ink recently, I thought it would be fun to do some of these quick sketches with it as well. Because I have found sometimes I feel like it's not I don't know, there are other media that I feel more confident with in such a short time frame. I know that I can do nice things with this pen with more time, but with more practice, even with things that we don't feel fit the constraints, more practice just brings more experience, and it can be possible to adapt to the limitations and challenges that specific media present. So that's what I've been doing the last 2 hours. Kiki is here. Hello, Kiki. And Kiki was with us. Here is Kiki kissing a bunny. Nice to see you here, Kiki. And here's Kathy being a bunny. Yeah, it was, here is a mother of 100 bunnies. It was so good, so much fun. And I do this every Tuesday, and you're all invited, whether you're here watching live or watching the replay. I've been hosting these Zoom sessions every Tuesday for almost 5 years. Hello, Luis. Hannah Marie is also here. Wonderful. Mwah to the bunnies. All right, we have 2 baby bunnies in the house. That's why it was a very bunny-centric drawing session today. Yeah, let's draw Jade. I don't know how long this is going to be. Everyday Sketchbook is here. Hello, Rachel. It was nice to have you sketching with us as well. Horik, yes, you're here for us live. Cool, we're drawing together live today. I don't know if you can see the chat that was chatting before you got here, but I put the Discord link up. First comment in the chat. I'll just copy it and put it in the chat again because I would love... June hasn't been able to get into Discord yet. If you're able to get into... Oh, wait a minute. That doesn't look right. I don't know. Maybe someone... I'll put it in later. And if you want to get in touch with me, you missed the live chat, you only see this. You didn't miss the live chat, June. This is live. You're here live today. You made it live because this is later than it usually would be because we just spent 2 hours drawing in Zoom. The live chat is right here. The Zoom session, the link is in the description down below. I always put it in because it's a thing that I love and I do every week. And at 7:30 p.m. German time, which is 1:30 in New York City, other times in other places, every Tuesday we draw together. And so if you follow that link, at that time on a Tuesday, then you'll come and draw with us and it'll be great. Okay, I'm putting Jade next to hello Toto, nice to have you here, next to Totoro and Hayao Miyazaki. And Toto, it's great that you are here because you mentioned a challenge with glasses, and Arun yesterday also was challenged by glasses, so I was like, let's draw some glasses. So I might start with the pencil just so I can display something before I get into the ink. I find glasses to be super helpful drawing guides, and that's why I'm often excited to draw glasses. It gives just a really clear often straight or whether it's round. It's a really clear, like, hard shape, which most of the face is not. Every face is different, and there are all of these soft subtleties, and just the clarity of the glasses create literally a frame of reference to start drawing other stuff from. Maybe I could actually do the drawing on here. This is slightly tricky because the head is tilted to the side a bit. By the way, yes, glasses. The reference is available in the Discord server, which I wanted to just give you the link to, but it's at the top of the chat. It's in the description. And you can grab the reference there if you like. Yeah, but what I was going to say is it's going to be important to take note of here, because often we have this like default. We're used to seeing frontal straight on faces, and often we will draw, even when the reference or the model is in a different position, there's this kind of autocorrect, which is an auto falsification, because this is something I often catch myself doing, and I know a lot of people do it, is you've got the reference is slightly tilted and you start, like, you automatically straighten it up. So that is something to be aware of. So it's easy because it's frontal, it's tricky because it's tilted. But if we look at this, we've got this this rhythm, this orientation running through this portrait, that all of these lines are parallel, and these lines don't really exist in the face. But if we think of it in that way, we can check in to make sure on this slightly tilted angle that we have this kind of repetition of this angle throughout the portrait, was the thing I wanted to tell you with this. And the glass is going to be really helpful, because that's literally, there are two frames to the glasses. They frame the eyes, and they give you all its information for where to put the edge of the nose and the hair. And just by carefully looking at the glasses, often I start with the glasses, not always, but just by observing the glasses and how they interact with all of the other shapes, that will help you find your way around the rest of the portrait. It's often a really helpful starting point, I find. And I know with Hayao Miyazaki, it was tilted, and it was also in perspective challenging. But if you just look at the pure shapes rather than think about it too much, it can really help you find where to place the other shapes too. So maybe I won't start with pencil because I just drew on the reference, but I will start drawing. What's everyone else drawing with? Jade. And I'll try and do this so it's not so shadowy. Okay. Please ask me any questions you may have. I like to have a conversation. I've been thinking a lot about a lot of things, about what I'm doing this year, and starting with this daily reference. And I'm really enjoying that the community on the Discord server is growing. I know some of you have had trouble getting onto Discord, but hopefully we can resolve that, because it's really nice place to share the work and to see the work that other people are doing, and all the different perspectives, all the different takes on the reference we're working on. Let me talk about glasses before I talk about my visions and dreams for the year. So here we have fairly square glasses, and if we can try and faithfully represent the form that we see here, which doesn't always work out, and that was someone's comment, that someone said I can never get both of the frames the same shape and size, and that's just a matter of practice, and I also don't always get them the same shape and size. It just takes care and attention. And because we have such a clear, manufactured, kind of unnatural graphic element, which the glasses often are, I find those hard, clear lines are often a really interesting contrast to the rest of the face. So here, if you're trying to get them to be the same, and these are pretty much like a mirror image because it's frontal reference. So here, trying to take in mind this angle that we have, and just try and draw the same different distance in this form down here. Looks a bit shorter here, but if I'm trying to mirror that also by paying attention to the reference. There's really quite a thin edge over here compared to here because of, I guess, the nose support. But yeah, you can try and mirror the shape, and if it goes wonky and you go off, maybe it's okay. It's nice to put things in the right place, but being perfect and exact is not what I am striving for. Things are in the right place, good enough, close enough, then I'm happy with it. So here, this is kind of a scratchy line, but I've got my glasses drawn, and so that can be a really helpful starting point for the rest of the portrait. You have a question? Feel free to ask. I'm happy to answer any questions. So if you have something specifically related to this or to glasses, that's great. But yes, please ask anything. And yeah, so from here, we can start to look. It's quite a thick shadow, and I'm gonna be bold. I'm gonna use this pen, use the thickness of this pen, and just put a big dark shadow under here. And then from where the glasses are, there's a cool little piercing here. We can figure out where to put the nostrils. There's this really nice shadow. That was part of what I really liked about this. And this is great in a lot of Amy's photography, because she's taking all these street photos, daytime photos, and they often have really wonderful overhead lighting of the sun, which is really nice to draw from. So this will be interesting if I'm gonna stick with this solid shadow, which I'm not sure I will around the eyes, but for that shadow of the frames, I feel like it's fitting. But I'd like a bit more kind of subtlety and the contrast around the eyes. And now here within the frame of the glasses, so the way I drew through it here, I can see that the eye is basically like in the top third of the frame. And so then we can use the frame to help decide where to put the eye. And the bridge here of the glasses is a bit higher than the corner of the eye, so it's like it's providing all these helpful cues for filling in the blanks, because that's like from our substrate, it's this process of filling in the blanks and figuring out where to put things. And from each mark we make, we commit to these shapes and these forms and the way they're interacting, and the more we put down, the more assistance we have, the more help along the way to figure out where to really put everything. Hello, Marcelo. Welcome. Nice to have you here. How is everyone? I'm well, because as I mentioned just before, I just finished 2 hours of sketching with my friends, which I do every Tuesday, which I love. So it always, no matter what's going on in the world and in my life, whether it's whatever it is, whatever's going on, Tuesdays, sometimes I'm like, before the session, I'm kind of like, I'm feeling like however I'm feeling. But then during the session, once we get sketching, and then afterwards, it's just like really invigorating. It's great. I love it. It's nice just hanging out with people, nice drawing together, and it just gets so absurd, such funny storytelling in our sessions. It's really nice. Yeah, same thing over here, and checking in with that that parallel lines that we had here, like getting, particularly when, blurry, when there's a tilt, when the head is tilted, that sometimes with this kind of wrong autocorrect thing that we do, like sometimes we will end up putting the corners of the eyes maybe in the wrong place, and then you realize like what one eye is like much higher than the other. So if you can check in before you commit to putting the line down, put the, like starting here from the corner of the eye, to put that in the right place. If you can be aware of that before you just charge into making a mark, that can help, because that is a really common thing, like putting an eye a bit too high. And I still love to put an eye a bit too high. So if you can take a moment, if you can catch yourself, and if it's even your desire to have that element of control, then yeah, catching yourself before you do it is a good time. Because then you can check in and just kind of make sure you put things in the right place. Random Cool Guy is here. It's been a nice week. I'm glad to hear it. Nice to see you. Yeah, so that's a lot of what I have to say about glasses right now. I have chosen for the coming days more really cool reference with glasses. And for those of you perhaps that are challenged by drawing glasses, then it's good to draw glasses, and maybe you'll learn to love them, as I do. I actually need some new glasses. I've been noticing the lenses of my glasses are kind of scratched and warped, and either I'm just finding it hard to concentrate, or I can blame it on my glasses. But I've needed new glasses for a while, so it could be perhaps even as we spend some time drawing glasses together, I'll just finally get around to getting new glasses. This is the second pair of glasses I've ever had. Yeah, so basically everything I was talking about, like how you can use the glasses as orientation for putting things in the right place, like that's most relevant around here. And then once you have that information, it just extends out from there, that every choice you've made informs the next choice, and then it's more and more decisions are made, and there are more. This keeps going out of focus. Yeah, as you're filling in the blanks, then you no longer necessarily have to go back to the glasses, because you have more and more shapes already that you can draw from. But sometimes it is helpful, if you're not sure about something, you could still go back to, where are the glasses in alignment to the neck? And then sometimes you might be surprised about where you're putting things. So you can take things from the other side of the drawing, the composition, just to check in to see where they are located. You need new glasses too. With these slight tilts, Horix, good question here. With these slight tilts, even with the correct guidelines, I always straighten one eye too much. My hand is like, nope, we ignore our marks. Yeah, it's interesting. What is it? Why? Because I do it a lot, and that's why I'm able to talk about it, because I catch myself doing it all the time. I think even yesterday's, when I look at yesterday's drawing, I'm like, I put one eye a bit higher, and so even being aware of it, it can still be a thing. And that's why, if we are able to be aware of it and be conscious of it, and really check in with the surrounding forms before we commit to putting a mark down, it can be really helpful to get things in the right place. Because I've heard it from lots of people, and sometimes it's a specific facial feature or part of the body that just wants to be drawn in a special way all the time, and that we may have a kind of, for some reason, a predisposition to always repeating the same slightly inaccurate thing. And I guess if you really go for it and own it, perhaps that could become part of your iconic style, always doing it that way. There are certainly, when I think of comic artists or other sequential storytelling where there's a lot of images, it's not about the one image, but you see a lot coming through the collective work, that a lot of artists would develop a shorthand and a way for expressing things in an economical way, and then sometimes you'll notice some of those things will maybe be more pronounced. And either it's like, hey, they have a really cool style and I love the way they draw. It's like, oh, maybe they just always, it was just like that, and they always did slightly tilted eyes, or always balance it out like that, and it becomes part of it. But if you're aware of it and you want to change it, being aware is the first step, and then being able to catch yourself before you make those marks. That's really helpful, and that's why I think ink is so great. Oh, I'm moving away from the frame. I'll come back up here. That's why ink's so good, because you really need to. Just such a good teacher. You need to be aware of what you're doing, because once you've done it, it's done. Like there's no correcting. There may be some ways to compensate and move things around, which can also be really interesting. Like how do you just roll with it when you start noticing things that could be different, and you can develop some interesting, helpful solutions that way as well. But if you're able to catch it before you do it and have that practice, and I think that's part of why doing a lot of sketching and why having that cumulative practice is really valuable, because maybe you didn't catch it this time, but you might catch it next time or the time after that. And yeah, just starting to be aware. If you want to change something, then being aware of it and catching yourself just before you do it, or even after you do it, and like, oh, maybe next time. That can help. Cassidy is here. How wide is my calligraphy pen nib? Hello, glasses. 1.4 millimeters. Cassidy makes noses bigger. Yeah. And I have had these phases where I try and focus on not doing the thing I always do, but it can sneak back in as well. And there are different. I feel like there are different modes of operation and how we look and how we sketch, and depends on the time frame, and there are all these kind of variables. I'm going to zoom out a bit and do some more hair. Ink forces you to work with mistakes. It basically guarantees some of those happy accidents. Yeah, totally. Which you might not erase with pencil. That's it. Like, it's like, I just did that. How am I gonna keep working with it and just make that part of what this drawing is? Yeah, this part of the fun, I think, because we're in a collaborative relationship with our media of choice, really, and there are different things that lend themselves to different, or force you to react or consider in different ways, and that's part of what's cool. I also like using so many different things, and all these different media have they lend themselves to a certain way of drawing, which can also be really informative and help develop in other areas, like having a fear of commitment with graphite or with paint. If you have a medium that you can endlessly change, at least this was my experience, just like redrawing and never being content, and then having a phase when my mentor at the time, Rebecca Gay, she said to me, you should work with ink, and it was really changed my practice so much. And then I realized when I came back to pencil, like, oh, now I'm more decisive with my pencil as well. Hi, Joshua. Random cool guy's been practicing with ballpoint pens lately. Really gets me to think about my marks. Excellent. Yeah, so good. Really cool. If you are on Instagram, you can tag me and Jade, who we're drawing, and Amy at Don't Smile NYC, the photographer, amazing photographer. And check out Amy's account on Instagram because there are so many amazing portraits in there. It's really a joy to work from awesome reference. And also on the Discord server, I'll grab the link now. I want to put it back in. I've got to take it from my phone and put it onto the computer. Join the Discord server. There is also a resources conversation in the Discord server where people are like, here's a really cool photographer, check this out. And if you want to share references of your own, images of yourself for people to draw, there's even a reference sharing conversation, a chat over on the Discord server there too, which hasn't been used much yet, but I think could definitely have, it has potential, like the Museum by Sketchy app and the Kanyo group chat where people share references. It's really cool. And at the moment it's really intimate. So there are fewer of us there, and we have the chance to get to know each other, get to know each other's work, and I'm enjoying that a lot with the Discord server. I'm wondering how much more of this hair I want to draw. Is this going to become a hair drawing, or is that it? And I was also thinking about brushing into it, but I've decided to leave it as a no brush piece because I think it would be a nice contrast to this, which is right next door. Totoro and Hayao Miyazaki, I think just leaving it as a line drawing and not filling in any value. Although it's very bright and I can see all these values that I would like to fill in, I'm really tempted just to leave it like this because they don't all have to have the same kind of each sketch can be different, and that's a great thing. I anticipate that by the time I'm a few pages into this sketchbook that it's going to be there'll be really distinctly different pages and different explorations, trying different things out. They don't all need to be, or maybe each sketch is its own, and it's interesting in terms of the overall composition on the page how they interrelate. Because each drawing in this case, in the sketchbook, if you don't have a sketchbook practice, and maybe you've never have, it can be a really cool thing to have. And it's also cool, having a sketchbook as a place to explore and experiment, and there can be really interesting things that happen within the spreads of a sketchbook, within the pages. And rather than being on a standalone piece, it becomes a relationship between many images. And it's interesting the way they interact and inform each other. And I wanted to talk about you joined the Zoom chat for the first time today. Cool. Yes, Rachel, it was so great having you there. Friendly and funny to anyone who's thinking about it. Be brave and give it a try. We are a lovely group. It was so cool that you were there. And yes, it is funny and fun and loving. We love each other. It's so funny. It's such an enjoyable way to practice together. Yeah, I would love all of you to come and sketch with us. Every Tuesday. We're coming up for the the 5th birthday of the group, or the 5-year anniversary, whatever you want to call it. I've been hosting weekly Tuesday sessions for almost 5 years. And there's almost every week someone new pops in. Some people stay forever, some people come just once, some people come every couple of months. And some people like being drawn, some people like leaving their cameras off, and however you choose to be there, you are totally welcome to come and draw and hang out with us. I'm feeling like this might almost be done for today. Horik, you just finished your first sketchbook a few days ago. Great, cool. Is there a place where we can see? Have you done like a sketchbook walkthrough? Those are always really interesting. No pressure. You don't have to share it. It can be totally private, and that's totally fine. But I have seen people do sketchbook walkthroughs, and it can be really interesting to see what the journey entails. I finished one, which I have not done a sketchbook walkthrough of, but I finished one in October as part of the Kenyo Sketch It Challenge. One that I had started already. I think like 2 years before, and I wanted to finish it before I started in this one, so I used October and that challenge to fill it. Oh yeah, I was going to say about things, visions. I've been thinking about things. I'm offering a mentorship, which is starting like very soon at the end of the month, and as a precursor to it, on the 19th of January, I'm going to host a webinar, which everyone is invited to, a free webinar, and it's going to be on leaning into lightness, which is going to be about fun and looking and just foundational drawing exercises, which, rather than trying to get the likeness right and trying to get the angles right, to be really loose and really different in the process. And it's that kind of play is the first step in my concept for the mentorship that's going to be coming up, and it's something I'd like to share with everyone, so you're all welcome to join that. That's going to be on the 19th, and if you're on my mailing list, the link is in the description. I'm going to be sending out the invitation there, and that will lead into the mentorship, and people are signing up to the mentorship, and I'm very excited about it. It's going to be great. There are limited seats, so check it out. The link to the mentorship information page on my website is also in the description. And also on Patreon, I just sent out a post this afternoon. I'm starting to come up with a roadmap for the year. So I do monthly tutorials on Patreon, and for a while now, I've kind of been like, what am I going to do next? What am I going to do next? And I've decided for this year, I'm going to create an overarching vision of the way the tutorials are going to interact with each other and build upon each other. So that's going to be happening in Patreon, which I think is a nice complement to the mentorship, which is super immersive. Whereas the Patreon tutorials, you can go at your own pace, watch the video, do your work. And you can also share your work there to the Discord server. That's bringing all these things together, and the community element of it, because just doing this together is so much fun. And we were talking about it in Zoom as well. It's just so good to be together, to create together. And it's nice to have a kind of home for the conversation and the community on Discord. What am I up to? Okay. Horik just said most of the sketchbook is pencil. My phone camera kind of sucks taking photos of it. I have a few. I'll send them in the Discord somewhere if there's a place. Yeah, do that. There is a general art chat, I think as it's called. A tip for photographing graphite, because it's so reflective. If you have the light in the same position as the lens, if your lens is coming from here and your light is from here, the graphite is going to reflect back. And that's why I have two lights, so I can have them at a flat angle shining from the same place, and if I photograph it from here, there's no shadow because the light is coming in like this, and that shiny reflection from the graphite will bounce off in this direction, and the camera, the phone or whatever camera you're using won't get that glare and shine. And the way I used to do this is one of my lights would be the window, and you have a great source of natural light, and then you get a lamp or something from the other side, and then you have these 2 directional lights. They'll probably be different colors. The outside light and your lamp light will be different. But if you experiment with that, having 2 different light sources when you photograph, that will help photographing your graphite. Yes, Kiki says the Zoom link is on the website under the Learn With Me tab, and I'm pretty sure it's down in the description here as well. It's early for you on the West Coast. Yeah, on the West Coast it must be, 6 hours earlier? Yeah. But yeah, definitely check that out. Come and draw with us in Zoom every Tuesday. Come back here tomorrow, which will be at 9 o'clock German time tomorrow, which is 3 East Coast, noon Pacific time, and all over the rest of the world. Other times is at 9 here, is 2 in India. If you're up at 2 in the morning to draw, that's amazing, and thank you. But otherwise, you can watch the replays as well. And I'd also like you to type comments and say how you enjoyed this and who you are, what you're doing, what you're working with, what your challenges are in the comments. Oh, Linda is late. You just got here and we just finished. But since you're here, and before I tuck myself in for the night, I'll just show you this sketchbook so far. Thank you, Linda. So here we have this spread is coming together. So I'm glad I decided not to do any brushwork on this, because I feel like now it's visually distinct from this. And this one from yesterday just like drew itself. Sodershon was so much fun to work on, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. And it felt like it was an easeful. Oh, this one is light and kind of hard to see. Let me do that. Hanane, Ray Wimley here, really like this one. So I did this one after these 2, and this was like pretty fine, and I spent a long time on these 2, and then I thought I want to do something a bit looser and a bit rougher, so I started this one like really scribbly, and I really like how that one turned out of Ray Wimley. That was really cool. And so far, apart from Hayao Miyazaki, everyone has written to me, been in touch with me, enjoyed the work. Derek didn't, and this is from an ancient found photo, I think so. But Owen Wilson found photos, OW found photos, I think is the Instagram account, also wrote and it's like, hey, that looks great. It's nice to see that the photos are being used. So I find it's really nice to get in touch and connect with the people that we draw. And Tasim also wrote and said, wow. And I said, I love you and your mum. This is Nicolas Uribe from a very flattering screenshot from our Drawn Together conversation that we had. And I'm not sure who this is, but it was photographed by David Callanan, and he also gave it a heart emoji. So yeah, tag me, tag Amy and Jade. Maybe Jade will even see it, maybe not, but who knows? Just by getting in touch with the people, connecting to the people that we draw, is a really nice way to connect with the world, just to be in touch and to know that we are not alone, and that we see each other and appreciate each other. And yeah, the voice message I got from Soto Sean last night was really sweet. And yeah, it's like we just do it and put it out there, and it takes on a life of its own. Linda, you're so amazing. It's so great having you here, even though you joined late. You can go watch the replay now. Thank you, Ed. Thank you for being here. Horik, yes, Nicolas Uribe is amazing. And a very, very funny person. That was I think it was the funniest Drawn Together episode that we had. That's it for today. Be here again tomorrow. The brand of my sketchbook is Hanemüller. And it is the same paper that I use nearly all the time, but bound in a beautiful sketchbook. And it's big, it's A4, it's got lots of pages, it's 190 GSM paper, so it takes the ink fairly well. It wouldn't be so good for watercolor. It looks like this. I could maybe paint on it because it's like kind of like canvas. I'll put stickers on it, I don't know. But that's my sketchbook. I wanted to show you. Hanemüller Nostalgie paper. Where is my... Here. I use it a lot. This is what it looks like. This is A3. Big one. I also have it in A5. I do a lot of my drawings A5 size. And here I did my Tuesday sketches on this one. So I have a lot of faces living together on the same page. Yeah, Hanemüller Nostalgie paper. I like it. This was great. Great that you were here. Great that you're all here. Thank you to everyone who participates in this fun activity together. I love you all, and I'm really happy to be able to be here with you, sharing this in this way. So tag and follow me, thumbs up for this video, subscribe if you haven't already. It is the same paper in the sketchbook, is exactly the same paper as the block. This sketchbook and this sketchbook, which is full, that I could do a sketchbook walkthrough of, which I have taped back together, and I've taken it everywhere with me for a couple of years. It's the same paper as the big block of Hanemüller Nostalgie paper. Thank you for being here. Come back tomorrow. Take care, and I would love